Hi, I'm Georgia Wilson and this is my PowerPoint presentation on my final placement review. Okay, so my original SWOT analysis, I looked at my strengths, which were organisation, which were my professional traits. My personal traits were enthusiasm and approach ability. My weaknesses, I looked at my professional, were adaptations. I struggled to adapt on the spot. If I have time to adapt, I'm fine with that. My personal weaknesses is confidence. Once I get to know someone, I'm quite a confident person, but my first initial meeting, I'd rather be with someone else. So during delivering sports sessions, on the first session you do during the day, I prefer it if someone else is there to help support me, and then once that's done, my confidence builds up. Did I maintain and develop my areas of my SWOT analysis? Well, throughout the day I could see organisation during running of the events. However, some events, there was a few children misbehaving, getting a bit rowdy, moving from one sport to another, and this was a problem, trying to get things organised, trying to get one group to the right place. However, during the sessions and on the pitch, the organisation was great. I maintained my enthusiasm and my approachability during the day, tried to build a good relationship with the kids, and in my team in one of the days, one of the girls said to me, "You're my best friend," so that was the highlight for me of that day. The opportunities, I looked at low confidence, which is affecting the students, like perhaps them beginning to misbehave. But like I've said, they didn't misbehave, but I don't think this was to do with my confidence, because I had someone else alongside me. I was working with colleagues all day, which will positively influence, like I just said. When you've got two people, you've got more authority over the children, try and help control situations. Teamwork is one of my strengths, which I took out a personality test. Obviously I play rugby and football in the team sport, and that helps me through this, and I've got quite a high leadership role in that. My threats was poor mentoring, but I've not experienced this, and obviously lack of extracurricular activities. But doing these healthy schools projects, it's really good, had a wide range in sports. After the first sessions were being delivered with another colleague, like I said, it allowed me to become more comfortable, more confident through the rest of the day when I had someone else beside me for the beginning of it. And once I had a fair amount of time to adapt if needed, I was capable of doing so. So my placement information, originally I was meant to be going to Dalham School at Milnthorpe. They confirmed the placement, it was all going ahead, but then they let me down last minute. So I've had to do the backup and be doing Healthy Schools project. This, because I've joined so late, I'm a bit behind on placement hours, but I'm continuing with Healthy Schools project. I've also got a placement sorted at Preston Muslim Girls School. If you look at appendices 1, I've got my email from Kian, and I'm going to help teach football there on mornings after Easter for the girls over there. And I'm also going down to Burton Moor Primary School to help teach PE there. Most likely going to be Friday afternoons, try and get more hours in. So my placement portfolio. On the 17th of November 2016, a primary school came from Lancaster, I'm not sure what the name was. We did 9 AM till 3 PM at Euclid Sports Arena, teaching football alongside French students. Well, I was teaching football. There was other sports as well, and I was teaching this alongside my French pen pal. So we took it in turns there. She had to go at teaching them. If they were struggling with the language barrier, I'd help out there. But I see this really positively affected the children while we were doing this. So other sports were included during the day, so there's like hockey and rugby, On the 23rd of March 2017, I did the Trinity Primary School, Year 5 and 6. This was mixed genders. These were a really well behaved school. Really did enjoy the day. This was 8:30 in the morning till 3, again at UCLan Sports Arena, I was teaching tag rugby alongside another student. This school wanted to focus on competition with sessions ending in like short games. So the kids really enjoyed this, like a bit of competition, especially the boys. On the 24th of March 2017, I did Penwitham Priory as part of Health Schools as well. This was Year 7 mixed gender. They were a good school. There was a few issues with misbehaving, but I think it was because the boys and girls were getting wound up with each other. This was from 8:30 in the morning till 3 p.m. and this was at UCLan Sports Arena as well, teaching tag rugby. Again, that was just me teaching tag rugby. There was also other sports. This was alongside other students as well, varying the drills and the activities. Then on the 29th of March 2017, Preston Muslim Girls' School came, and they were Year 7 and 8, all females, and they were really enthusiastic about the day, really enjoyed it. This was from 8:30 in the morning till 3, but this one was at Sir Tom Finney Sports Centre. It was originally meant to be at the Sports Arena, but the weather was bad, so we had to quickly adapt and go to the Sports Centre. We all got assigned a role of team leaders. It was a round robin tournament all day, of futsal, handball and basketball. I was assigned a team leader for the day. All the girls loved it. We had a right good time. So overall, at the moment I've done 25 and a half hours, so obviously I've got quite a bit more to do, but I've got 2 more placements to go to yet. Okay, my targets. One of my targets was to try and become more capable of adapting on the spot. I've noticed that I've improved on this quite a lot during these projects. However, I still have a little bit more work to do on this. I just panic when it comes to adapting on the spot. Another target was to gain more confidence delivering sessions on my own to groups of kids. Like I've said, once someone's done it for me at the beginning or helped me out at the beginning, my confidence then, once I've got to know everyone, is fine, because I think the children settle down a bit, get a bit more comfortable, which makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and confident when I'm delivering my sessions. And also, another target was to develop the ability to use different teaching styles for a variety of different games. Obviously, it depends on groups and the ages and genders. So, I've noticed that I vary this quite a bit depending on what the ages are and the gender. Okie dokie. So, the micro teaching part of things. Brenton Thompson, 1996, suggested that micro-teaching is a technique aiming to prepare teacher candidates to the real classroom setting. So this is trying to improve teaching and the teaching standards, looking at teaching styles. So I assessed Chris Gunn, and whilst he was teaching our UCLan students, he was teaching them how to do cricket. So I was looking at what kind of teaching styles he was using, and he used command to try and drill into us what we needed to do. Do this, do that. He was obviously making sure all students were listening and made the rules very clear so that we knew what we were doing on the day. What went well, obviously, during the session, we'd all listen to Chris, and it explained the rules so we understood them clearly when it came to deliver the sessions. It would be even better if the students could work out for themselves what was the best way to do the activities. Because we're a little bit older, getting into teaching, I think that would have been a good idea. Another teaching style used was guided discovery, so I've just put there that we should have had an input in that. And then I follow on to say he's used guided discovery, which allowed students to think of their own game and bring in the key concept of creativity. So obviously this was after he taught us what to do. What went well, obviously, allowing the students to be creative and thinking of new games on the spot. and giving them a varied choice in what to deliver as their session. I said even better if it maybe perhaps provide the students with a learning objective of what the school might want, so that this gives us a clear underpinning of what we need to do for that day. I also assessed Nathan. I looked at his tag rugby session for Penwith and Priory. He used practice as a teaching style. During the sessions, he asked a few people to help volunteer and do the demonstrations. So what went well, Nathan asked students to volunteer, demonstrate activities. In addition, he also asked students to re-explain and repeat what he'd just said so that everyone understood. He could have split them into groups and allowed them to discuss tactics after this, to try and give them a bit more practice, a bit more of what they want, obviously, but they might have done that anyway, walking across to their games. Also, Nathan used command. Penwith and Priory was a school that was a little bit misbehaving, but he was strict, he knew what he was doing. He was more firm with them, and obviously had to use more of a command style when it comes to things like this. But as the kids begun to misbehave, like I say, Nathan was sensible and took up command to try and become more firm, make it clear that they listened to him, and they did. So he did a good job of that. Nathan could have perhaps used more of an indirect, firm way of asking. So, sit down, thank you, not can you please sit down, because that's giving them an option to say no. Okie dokie, so the teaching styles, like I've just highlighted, are Mostyn and Ashworth. They've got 10 different teaching styles, also known as the Mostyn and Ashworth spectrum of teaching styles. Depending on the group size and behaviour, obviously age as well, different teaching styles might need to be used. There are 10 teaching styles: command, reciprocal, practice, self-check, guided discovery, inclusion, divergent, individual, learner-initiated, and self-teaching. Obviously these can be picked up throughout the sessions. Okay, so key concepts and key processes are part of the national curriculum, which people try and focus their sessions on. So the key concepts are competence, performance, creativity, and healthy active lifestyle. Obviously competence is looking at the level of ability, how well they can do it. Performance, obviously focusing on competition. Creativity is the students' own ideas, and healthy active lifestyle is obviously trying to maintain activity. Okay, the key processes: so developing skills in physical activity, making and applying decisions, developing physical and mental capacity, evaluating and improving, and making informed choices about healthy active lifestyles. So obviously throughout my sessions I tried to promote as many of these as I could. So I gave them options as to who wants to be in the middle for a bulldog game. Developing skills, I was trying to explain how to drift across the pitch in tag rugby, why we should be attacking the space, and I kept drilling it into them what was the key aims of the session. And obviously when it comes to evaluating and improving after a bulldog game or a game of rugby, I brought them in and asked them what they think they might need to do to improve. So they were assessing their own performance at this point. Okay, so my placement feedback. So I've got feedback off Chris Gunn, and he's on the email he said that good interaction with the pupils. It meets my SWOT analysis of being approachable, and obviously once you've got good interaction with the pupils, it motivates them to participate really in the day. He's also said we've had to change venues due to bad weather, which I highlighted before. This is a key aspect of my weakness, which is adaptability, but I had time to adapt. So for me, that was more easier than being on the spot, adapt on the spot. Also, we encouraged students well, and obviously they seemed to enjoy the day. So this is one of my strengths anyway, enthusiasm. I really do enjoy working with the kids, and if I'm enthusiastic, I feel like they are as well, so they put the effort in. I've got a planned session of tag rugby. Learning outcomes were the pupils to develop their own knowledge and understanding of the rules of tag rugby. Pupils will develop their competitiveness within teams, to focus on spatial awareness and attacking space. That's key here. And to focus on drifting within the defensive lines. This is more looking at the skill rather than the teamwork side of things. We did a 5 to 10 minute warm up of Stuck in the Mud. Everyone played, so we all participate, and we focused on attacking the space. And then we did a 10 to 15 minute game of British Bulldog. We split up in half, and both groups played the game, highlight attacking space again. We did 15 to 30 minutes of round robin between 4 teams, so once they'd been split into half, they were then split in half again. They were the teams for the day. The winner stayed on that pitch, so the winner moved over from this pitch, and then the losers played the losers and the winners played the winners, and that was bringing in competition throughout the day. Differentiation, so for things like Stuck in the Mud, we'd looked at making it easier by walking. Obviously people will try and cheat, maybe sprint a little bit, but we picked up on this. Also, to make it harder, instead of going underneath the arm and Stuck in the Mud, you could climb through the legs, things like this. The key concepts involved in this session that I did was performance, so obviously looking at the competition that the school wanted to involve, and also healthy active lifestyles. We tried to make it as fun as we can for them to exercise, try and influence them to carry on participating in sport. And also a key process, developing skills in physical activity. We looked at the spatial awareness and attacking space, and obviously drifting within the defensive line. And I continued to repeat this throughout the session so they understood what I was meaning. So my final reflection of my SWOT analysis, the key things here was the enthusiasm from the feedback was one of my key strengths, so I'm glad that this was viewed in my sessions. My overall targets were met. Some might not quite be there yet, but we're getting there. And also feedback was very positive. Obviously, looking at the enthusiasm, other schools enjoyed it. Yeah. Thank you very much.